are you? Introduce yourself to the people.
I'm good. My name's James. I'm the co-owner of Interludee in Lee Green. Yeah, having a good day myself. How are you?
Amazing. I'm well, thank you. Alive and well, so can't complain. That's always my response with all these things.
That's
But let's jump straight into it. So, take us back from the beginning. As far as Interlude goes, take us back and let us know, what was the birth of Interlude? How did it all start?
Basically, the venue that we're at now in Lee, me and my business partner used to hold events there ourselves. And then the previous owner left the building and we saw that was vacant and we thought we'd go for it just because we always wanted a nightclub.
Right.
So that was, we used to hold day events there, the Big Chill Sundays. And from that, it inspired us to take over the venue. And then we also got the kitchen up and running, added the food element, the cocktails, which was all new to us. We hadn't done none of that before we started. So we just come straight from the raving side of things and just went into the bar/restaurant field.
So you elevated.
Yeah.
You elevated your... So you started, I remember Big Chills, which was weekly, right?
Yeah, every Sunday.
And you used to hold that in... So first of all, explain to the people, what was Big Chill?
Big Chill was like every Sunday games night, shisha. It was sort of like, started off like a chilled vibe, and then it sort of changed into your shisha, drinks, and then like a party for the last 2 hours. So it started at around 6 every Sunday and finished at 12.
Okay.
And we've done that for, I think, 1.5 years.
Right, okay.
We moved it to the O2.
Yeah.
Eventually, and then it stopped there. Water Margin's gone now. We've done it at Water Margin, that's gone. And then after that, we not too long after that we got the bar.
Right, okay. So with hiring venues for Big Chill, say for example Water Margin, what did that entail? What did you have to do or provide, or what avenue did you go down? What was the thought process? Like, what was the Chill?
Basically, they were looking for someone to take over their Sundays, and we just brought to them what we done. We showed them our portfolio, showed them the sort of numbers we were doing, showed them videos, and it's something they were interested in. The only clash, it became a bit inconsistent in Water Margin because when concerts are on and stuff, they didn't want to do it because they get a lot of footfall from them days, and it wasn't really working for us. Okay. We need that any event you do, it needs to be consistent. And it was too much stop-start, so it didn't quite work out on Water Margin. Okay, okay. And then you moved over from Water Margin to what is now Interlude. Yeah. So what gave you the confidence or even the thought process of saying, do you know what, actually, I guess holding an event in a venue, you're responsible for, I guess, the people on the night for those 6 hours, but then you get to walk away on a Monday, for example. You go do you know what it is? Me and my business partner, when we've done events, we've done mini events away from Big Chill, and we've done a few different ones. But we find that when we are running our events, we're very hands-on, even more hands-on than the owners. We find a lot of owners that we worked with previously, it's like they weren't aware of a lot of the risks that come with events and stuff. And we taught them a lot of things. Right, okay. Because a lot of people that do own venues, they own a venue, but they don't understand the party scene. So with us having that knowledge and experience, it's more of the business side we have to learn. In terms of just running it, the party element of it was fine. Okay, so you were quite comfortable then. So you felt like after 1.5 years of throwing the events, you felt quite comfortable and confident to say, right, actually, let's grab the bar and we can do this. Yeah, and my business partner has been doing events since he was 18. I haven't been doing it as long as him, but before Big Chill, we had events as well. So that wasn't even our first. Right, okay. Yeah, we've done events on a bigger scale as well. Amazing. And how would you say, just touching on business partners slightly, what would you say are the sort of pros and cons to having a business partner? If there's someone out there, I guess, with your business partner, did you start as friends or? No, we met through a friend, but we became friends through business. Through business. Amazing. Yeah. So, because I was going to ask you, what would be your thought process on mixing friends with business? Because, you know, there's always that I think, okay, cool. If you're going to do it with a friend, you have to have the same vision. And you have to complement each other. Like, it can't be too one-sided. You need trust. And yeah, it's just you got to be able to work with each other. You don't want to kind of bounce off each other.
Balance each other out. If someone's good with the books, the other one's more creative.
Yeah, and kind of both learn the same thing. So it's not, we never really have to ask each other to do stuff. We see something, it needs to be done, it gets done. It's never, So we've always kind of worked like that.
So having the right dynamic and the same morals, even, so to speak, or the same ethic to say, right, you're not passing the load, he's not passing the load, you're like both on it, both have the same mindset, and it works.
I think it works because we're both good at different things as well. So we kind of know who's doing what when. So I can explain it. Like, he's very good at like the media side of things, whereas I would prefer running a night, because that's what I will handle when the event starts. I'll run a night, but prior to the event, he's got good vision of like how all the media stuff should look, how to improve footfall, stuff like that.
Amazing.
So yeah,
strengths and weaknesses, someone just said. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
P.S. guys, if you have any questions for James throughout our conversation, just chuck them in, and as always, I will visit them towards the end, and we'll make sure we get through all your questions. So just chuck them in as we go, and I will get through them for you. So you have just celebrated 2 years of Interlude, right? So you've been running for 2 years now.
Yep.
Congratulations, that is huge.
Thank you.
A nightclub, particularly in the heart of, close to Lewisham, which is quite a area, and being a young black man yourself, you've been able to do that, which is pretty phenomenal. What have been some of the challenges you faced during these 2 years, and some of the biggest lessons that you've learned during this time that you can share with us?
Some of the stuff I've learned, challenges, licensing and police have been a challenge. I remember when we got the keys to Interlude, you have to apply we had to get our the license transferred over into our names for the entertainment side of things. So when we done that, obviously the police and licensing see it come through. They want to meet with us, have a chat. So we met with them, we had a chat. Everything was fine, but I think because at first we thought, because of our age, we felt like they didn't believe in what we could do. They just looked at us and thought, young, Lewisham, black, won't be here long, sort of thing. That's the kind of energy we got from them. And they did make things difficult. And at the time, it was all new to us. Things we couldn't do and could do, wasn't really sure. We're doing everything properly by the book. And there's a lot of things I found they told us we needed to do, and it wasn't necessary. And they were making our life a lot difficult. Like, for instance, when we took over the bar, they said, if we're having parties, everyone has to be seated, no dancing, no nothing like that. Yeah, but that's not on our license. So by law, that's what they told us we had to do, but by law, we don't have to do that. We had an entertainment license to hold parties, standing, seating, DJ up until 12 o'clock every day. So that was our license to begin with. We had a 12 o'clock license every day. And I think after the first year, we applied for extension for Friday and Saturday. And that went through a review, and we got it because we had a peaceful year and everything was done by the book. Besides licensing, the complainants, there's one tenant that lives in Leagate. He's complained about us before we even opened. He come past, saw us doing the works. He would email the council saying our speakers are too big, we're not allowed to do this. The restaurant, they're not allowed to do this. And it's like, every time he spoke, they'll come down, want to meet us. He said this, he said that, but he wouldn't use his name, but I felt like it was for one person. He was dictating too much, and he will come past with his phone, video record us through the windows.
Wow.
People would come outside, and he will film, and it became harassment. It felt like we was being harassed and watched, and wasn't doing anything wrong. And I remember one time, I think he emailed planning permission, saying that we're using the building for the wrong usage.
Right.
So a lady, literally, we had customers in the building. It was, I think, within the summer we first opened. A lady come, she was on a pedal bike. She come into the venue with her pedal bike, put the pedal bike against the wall, didn't introduce herself, and just started recording. So we went up to her and said, like, what? We didn't know who she was. Oh, she said, I'm from planning. I'm just recording. This is for. I have to show planning what you're using it for to see if it's the correct use, so forth. And we said, that's fine, but that's not how you do things. If you're from an authority, firstly, you come in and introduce yourself and say why you're here. You don't just come into a venue with your bike, because bikes are not allowed in the bar. First, you don't bring bikes into a restaurant. They're for outside. So that was the first disrespect I found. She didn't introduce herself. And on top of that, she was filming customers, and they weren't too happy. And it was just like, you can't really do that. And some customers actually left because of it.
Wow.
And I sent an email to planning about it, complaining. I think it was the head of planning got back to me. He dismissed that the woman come in at all, and he just said, oh, you're using it for the correct use, and just ignored it.
Wow.
And we just thought it was disrespectful. Then a couple weeks later, he come back and said, we had seating outside. He said, you've got to take in all the seating from outside. You don't have planning permission to use the seating outside, because the tenant complained again, saying they've got seats outside. It's a public place. He said, we need to apply through planning for the seating. So we tried to apply through planning. We took our seats in, listened to them, and it was take weeks and weeks, went back and forth. We lost the summer, so we had the whole summer of no seating outside.
Right.
And then it got to, like, I think February the next year, and I was having a conversation with the landlord about it. And what came to our knowledge was our forecourt is owned by the landlord, so it's private property. So as long as the landlord
happy for seating, it was actually fine.
It was fine. And obviously planning knew this, but again, it's just something they tried to do to just slow down what we're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another thing we weren't too happy about, and we lost. Interlude is not in the summer. In the summer, people don't want to be indoors.
Yeah.
So us having that indoors and it's 25-30 degrees outside limits us.
Yeah.
And if we had it for that summer, a lot more trade could have come through the doors.
Come through, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just little things like that. And we'd get complaints here and there, because we was one licensing officer is usually assigned to your building.
Right.
So I'm not going to mention his name, but he was assigned to our building, and he kept coming back with what this complainant's saying every week. So we're saying, look, we're doing this by the books, doing this, and they'll leave, and then they'll come back, leave, and then come back. And then I sent a long email saying, like, we're beginning to think this is now racism, because we're doing everything by the book. We've got, we're not the only, there's a Weatherspoons in Leagate. There's other shops. And I'll go around to the Weatherspoons, speak to their manager, I'll speak to other shops. Licensing don't bother them at all. They will complain about our noise. Weatherspoons is directly under the tenant.
Ooh. Oh, right, okay. So Weatherspoons is directly under the tenants.
Yeah, under the tenant's house. They'll be outside till 12, drinking beer, making noise. Weatherspoons didn't. I spoke to the Weatherspoons manager. They didn't get no complaints. They had seating outside. I said, has planning ever approached you about seating outside? No. They said they haven't had nothing. So Weatherspoons didn't have it. So we done everything they asked. We just thought it came down to colour. I expressed this in an email. I didn't get a response. And the guy that was the licensing officer that was dealing with us, I never saw him again. The next time we had a meeting with licensing, it was a different guy. So, yeah, it was just, when we complained, it was like nothing was done, and this tenant, anything he said, they'll come down on us. Down to when we applied for our 2 a.m. extension on Fridays and Saturday, he was the only, we have to put a notice in the window that has to stay up for 6 weeks to give a chance for residents to object it. So no residents objected it. How it works is when you apply for a new license, free, it goes through the police, the residents, and the licensing. If any of them free reject it, you have to go to like a meeting. So to appeal for it. So police agreed, licensing agreed, and then that one tenant complained. So we had to go to a meeting where he has to attend and say why he doesn't want it, didn't show up, and then they granted us the license. But it's just, for us, we're just thinking like, we're really going to a meeting. There's thousands of people that live in there. There's tower blocks. Loads of people walk past every day. I've seen it, and we're really going to a meeting in our trading hours where we've had to put staff in when because of one tenant. And then when we're sitting in the meeting, because there's other issue, there's similar people in before us, and then when they're going into their meetings, there's like 20 residents complaining why they don't want it. It's different, you know what I mean? And I think, because with the police and licensing, it's the same man complaining, are you not seeing a pattern?
Yeah, exactly.
Where you can pull him aside and say, listen, like, what's really going on? But you still have to go to the meeting. He didn't show up. And
you were able to get the license from there. I mean, it's pretty clear it's racial bias, not only from the tenant, but also the actions that were taken based on the one tenant's complaints. You've been afloat for 2 years now, God willing, many more to come. How have you managed to overcome those sort of, knockbacks and setbacks? How did you, remain positive?
What you've got to learn to do is just keep focused. Don't try and get ignorant and try and play tit for tat, and don't try and cut corners. I find in this industry with a lot of owners that have, they say they've been closed because of this and that. It's usually, when you do the background check, it's because they try to cut corners and bend rules. And if you want to be in it for the longevity of it, it's not worth it. Just do it by the book, and know your rights and know what you can and can't do. Know what you can and can't do, but don't bend corners.
Don't bend any corners. Were you able to get any help, or was there any help accessible to you for fighting these things and these injustices? Was there any, governing bodies or anyone that you were able to reach out to?
No. I only used to just speak to other people that have got bars, to be honest. There was no one to really reach out to other than the licensing, but they're the authority that and when they sit down with you, it's a lot of, we want to work with you, we want to help you, work with us, we work with you. And I just felt a lot of the time it wasn't that. The police and licensing will come down on you hard. Now we was there for 2 years. In the whole 2 years, we had one fight. It wasn't a major fight. It was between friends. They got a bit drunk and they got into an altercation, hit one another. Their friends partied up, they shook hands and went home. Now, licensing come. This was last September. They come down, said you had a fight, this and that. It's on CCTV outside the bar. We can see the brawl. Security wasn't doing nothing. Fine. We got broken into 6 months before. Through the outside the same door, like they kicked in the doors at the front and broke in. When the police come down, They done their checks. There's no CCTV of the front. They
Right.
didn't have. They said there's no. We can't. Oh, they could only use the cameras we had, but we had a fight. They said they had it on CCTV. Now, what we did find out is when the altercation happened, the tenant recorded it.
Right.
But they said they had it on CCTV, where again, that's not something they can do. So it's just all these things where if you just say it's fine. Tell us a member of the public filmed it like that.
Yeah.
But now, I don't like being lied to if we're working with you.
Yeah.
It's a working professional relationship. Just say we don't, because we want CCTV. If we know that we've got public CCTV out the front, that protects us. That's the sort of stuff we need. But it's just them sort of things. It's just, again, it's just them trying to not really help us, to be honest.
So really and truly, the best way to deal with that is stay above the book, have patience, continue to have decorum, and hopefully as the years pass by, the foot will loosen on your neck. And
and they're nowhere near as on us as they were, say, 18 months ago. So they have the complainant is now, I think for them, he's giving them more work than they need to. They're starting to find him annoying. Because every time he complains or reports something, they have to investigate it. And after a while, it gets boring investigating something that's not happening.
Yeah. So for you personally, what would you say it takes to successfully, in your case, you're running a bar, but I think it would be fair to widen it up to successfully run a business, because there's some long hours involved, and you done a complete refurbishment on your bar before you opened, right? So there's a lot of balls that you've been juggling, from licensing to refurbishment to having the bar up and running. What would you say it takes? If there's someone out here listening who is interested in starting their own business or in the commercial trade or hospitality trade, what would you say it takes? What advice could you give?
Have a vision. Have a long-term vision of what you want to do and what you want to achieve with your business. Definitely have, if you're going to go into it with other people, the right business partners. You got to have patience as well. It's not gonna, like, we're still growing. We've been there 2 years, but it's still in the type of business we're in. It's not very long. We're still growing and hopefully push forward into bigger things. So what else I'd say you definitely need to understand, like, your taxes and stuff like that, and get a very good bookkeeper, so that you're not in any problems with a tax man, or you're always on the ball with everything, because that's important. You know, that's very important. And just good at managing your money. You gotta know the difference between your own money and money for the business. You can't mix the two. If you mix the two, you'll go backwards. Yeah.
Would you say, in terms of having an accountant or someone running your books and things like that, how did you get your head around that? How did you have a mentor or someone who?
No, so we had an accountant beforehand, and we found he wasn't very helpful, because it was all new to us. Like, literally, when we started, like, when we applied for the premises, we was in there within a few months, so it was a kind of a spontaneous. Wasn't planning to open anything just then, but because it was available, we said, let's give it a go and just do it. So a lot of things we was learning on the job, and a good accountant's important. You need it to just show you exactly what you need to do, when you need to do it, and because if you fall behind in that, it can get quite long, and it's important.
It's all important. Guys, I'm going to come over to your questions just shortly, so do fire in any questions that you've got for James so far. Just before I do that, James, for say personal relationships, friendships, etc. I know when it comes to moving into entrepreneurship or when you start something of your own, dynamics change, friendships change. There's a big notion about support and stuff like that. What experiences have you had with maybe friendships changing or not getting the support you thought you would get, and what advice would you give others in that field?
I think you do get friends that you support you, and you get some that are on the fence, and get I think what I did find, especially when we did open, is like a lot of people that not all of them, some of them are associates, not I'd say friends, but you would say, for instance, we opened around the same time as Crept and Cones. Now that was a fantastic thing as well, and that was a good. We both opened up around the same time, and I found that a lot of people around us would go down to Crept and Cones, but they don't know them, but they know us, but they just wouldn't
come and support.
They wouldn't come and support, and it's kind of it's fake.
Yeah,
like you'd rather support someone who I supported Crept and Cones. They're young black boys like myself. It was good, but it's just you wouldn't want to. I think some people found it hard to support someone. They find it hard. I don't know what it is, why people do it, but some people find it hard to truly support genuinely someone that they know. So there was a lot of people who I know personally. They didn't come to the bar for the first year. So there's a lot of people like that. There's some people I still know that haven't. There's people that I know that come, they've never bought nothing.
Yeah.
But you can't let that bother you. It's each their own. Like I'm not doing this. I'm doing it for everybody, friends, the public. So if you want to support. If you don't, we're going to continue anyway.
Absolutely. Amen.
So that's what it's about. And
I think it's funny. It ties in well with a tweet I saw yesterday. It said, what did it say? This might not be word for word, but it said something about pay attention to the friends that don't applaud you when you're doing something, but give a standing ovation to someone doing the same thing as you that they don't even know, or something like that. And it's true.
We saw that a lot.
Yeah, it's really important. And I think your thought process on it, that, do you know what, you're doing your thing and you're going to build your own community, irrespective. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of building businesses or starting businesses and expecting or almost holding their friends liable for coming to support.
No, you can't build a business like that.
Yeah.
And some even if you got friends, there are friends that they don't come all the time, but they can't. People work. Everyone's got different money. Some people have got kids, but you know who they are. You know who can't come. You can't expect your friends to come there every week. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. No,
they support when they can.
Yeah.
And whether that support is just a repost on Instagram or just coming in and saying hello, they don't have to buy something. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of people that you spot them.
Absolutely. Just note that, guys. There's many ways to support. In the same breath, don't start a business based on the support of your friends or family.
No.
You get into this, you need to build your community, find your own customers, and eventually they will follow. It's funny, open 3 more, venues, and start having all these high-profile people coming in. You'll soon see the friends that haven't visited you in 2 years running, snapping Interlude, but So it's important that you just know and move on from there. I'm going to have a quick look into some of these comments. See if we've got any questions in here. Okay. So we've got lots of thumbs up in here. We've got hi. We've got people saying hi to you. All good. That must be for sound. Heaps of thumbs up, ticks, lots of agreement. Claps. Congratulations on your 2 years. Hands up, claps, claps. Great conversation. Amazing. Hey, Shani. We've got, didn't know you went through all of that. That's ridiculous. So there we go. Some people tapping into your story for the first time. Miserable human. They're talking about that tenant. Your perseverance is why you are still existing today. That is so true. Thank you for that comment. Love, George. We will always win, bro. Can't hold us down. That's the Sessions UK showing you some love. Many more years to come. Anissa, Mava, I think that is. You can't stop greatness. Heaps of support in here for you, James. Great advice and a mindset for longevity. Yeah, that is true. That's Think Head Project. Yes, I think a lot of people need to read on their rights. So I think that was just to do with the licensing that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Are they planning on franchising in different areas in London? So are you planning on franchising in different areas in London?
Yes. We've spoke about it. It's a part of the vision, but we've always said as well, we find that sometimes when you put too much places, it loses the quality. And I find like a lot of chains that don't have too many spots or even one, that the standard kind of remains high.
Yeah.
And in the bar, because we're bar restaurant / we do the nightlife as well. A lot of similar businesses to ours, the owners are very hands-on and always there, and that's because of the nightlife side of it. It's hard. That's hard to get right, and we can only be in so many places at once. So to put people in charge of that and trust them with that, it's not easy. Not easy. It's not. It's because you're trusting them with your whole business,
your name and your brand.
Yeah.
And in saying that, I know you're a man. You love a good restaurant, a good cocktail. How did you take, or did you take any inspiration from, restaurants you visited in the past and things like that to implement your layout and way of managing your own bar?
When it comes to the food side of things, what I like with restaurants is consistency. So when I go somewhere, I like the food to stay the same as when I come the last time. So with our menu, when the boys that Jerk Bros that do the food for us, they do the food, they come with a menu that is quite easy to keep consistent, because we've got the jerk chicken, we've got the fries. But then we get a lot of people saying, oh, why don't we do the curry goat or the rice and peas and stuff like that? And we find that sort of model is hard to, like you said, grow and move into another venue, because them things are not easy to teach someone. Where we've got a similar to sort of like a Nando's concept, where if once the chicken's seasoned and stuff, we can mass produce it easier than if you're doing a curry goat or traditional Jamaican food. That's why we've done a Caribbean fusion. And the boys are good at it. They've done well.
Brilliant. Shout out Jerk Bros, right?
Yeah.
I ordered some food from your restaurant the other day, or you guys' restaurant the other day. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Really good. And it was delivery, and it came piping hot. It was salmon and halloumi burger, which I had never heard of before. And it went down super well. Some curly fries. So you guys...
Yeah, no, the boys have done well, and obviously for them, it's 2 years for them as well, because they were new. They started with us, so they had their teething problems, but they seem to have got it right now, and it's quite consistent. And the food's been going out all the way through the pandemic, so so they've done well.
Amazing. And how did you come across that partnership? Because when you're launching a bar, you then need to find someone to man the restaurant, so to speak, right?
Yeah. So what it was is Dan, he's one of the owners of Jerk Bros. He's my friend also. I knew he'd done pop-ups, and I'd seen the sort of stuff he was doing, and that was the kind of vision we had for Interlude. So I sat down, spoke with them and said, like, do you want to come in and you guys run our kitchen? Because that's kind of what we're looking for. That cool / Caribbean. It's like new. It's like a new sort of Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's not the traditional, like a new sort of vibe. So that's what we was going for. And they were up for it. And then they come in. And it worked.
I think based on what you've been saying to us today, it's no mistake that you've been successful thus far. Because you've clearly got even down to your reasoning on, okay, I wanted to have certain type of food. So if we ever need to mass produce it, we can mass produce it. Or I like going to a restaurant and having the same thing again. It's clear that you've had thought behind your movements today, which I think is brilliant and something that everyone should know. That go into it with a plan. Like you say, a vision. But a vision is one thing, but a plan is something else. You need to have strategy. You need to...
And so, your plan as well, it will change because there's things that come up that you didn't see, and you might have to change parts of your plan, if not all of it in some cases. So you might try something. Like, there's a lot of things that for us, we've changed so much from the beginning, so much from what originally we wanted to do because it just wasn't. And just keep going.
Cool. I think someone said why you're doing your purpose. I guess what she's trying to say is also to remember your why. Haters, they're probably big haters. There's loads of people saying haters. I think they're either talking about the people that haven't come to your bar or your tenant. They're missing out. Yeah, they're talking about your bar. More porn stars for us. So that's fine. You've got some supporters in here, some amens in here. Very true. It's sad that people are like that. That's true. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Comes back to your vision and focus. They can't hinder that. 100. Claps, claps. I missed the beginning. Not sure if you mentioned, but was Lee your ideal location or was it just available at the time? That's a good question.
It was just available. Just available. We knew the venue. We knew that we was getting people out on a Sunday, and it was full up every week. So we thought, why can't we? If we can do it on a Sunday, and we can do that. There's potential to do something else. So Lee. There was no, like I said, there was no ideal location. We always wanted a venue. But we didn't have no plans of getting it just then. And we wanted a nightclub. We didn't want a restaurant bar. So we always said we wanted to get a nightclub somewhere, somewhere probably closer to the city. But we've learned now if we can do it in Lee, and Lee Gate is not a place people like to go, and it doesn't have a high footfall. So we just know if we can do it there, then we can do it anywhere.
Anyway, because it's not like a high street or anything. You're not going to be walking past your bar if you don't have reason to be there. So
and that's the thing. A lot of the residents that have lived around there all their life, some of them, they say we're the longest business ever to have been there. So I think in the last 10 years, it's been 9 businesses. So it's
really
it's hard, but
wow. You've got through it. There's lots of love in here for Jerk Bros, saying their food's amazing. Someone said they clearly need to try Jerk Bros. Someone said the prawns are sweet. We've got lots of love in here for the prawns. Someone said big up Reese. I need to try the salmon burger and halloumi. Guys, have we got any questions for James on business at all? Someone's already arranging a date to the restaurant, James, so expect them. When do you open? Because obviously, how has COVID affected business for you?
So business, it has affected us. At the moment, we've decided to we're open for takeaway every day and collection, but in terms of the actual bar side of stuff, we're only open for private bookings. For the moment. Reason being, footfalls, I don't know, drink suppliers, other bar owners. Footfall isn't great at the moment for bars. So we can't afford to staff the venue every day and open and no one to walk in. I think it's going to take a while for people to want to go out all the time. I think people over these last 6 months as well have learned how to enjoy themselves in their house or in the park. And
that's very true. The lifestyle is different now.
Different. So yeah, a lot of people now, when they're looking to do something, they want to go to the park or in their house. And I think if they are going to a restaurant or bar, you're going once because you haven't been out in 6 months, and if you're going again, it's because you're going to something like a brunch. There's a reason for you to go out. I don't think I think people have lost that spontaneous. It's a Thursday, let's just go for a few drinks.
In saying that, you've been very innovative. I've seen you going to drop off slushies in a park and stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
That's done very well. I just thought, like, people kept asking on the Instagrams and messaging me personally for cocktails. I ain't had a cocktail. So I put up a little poll, would people want cocktail deliveries? A lot of people said yes. So I started off first with the spirit delivery. So it was delivering spirits because people didn't want to go to supermarkets. They didn't want to leave their house. So we just dropped the bag on the doorstep, message them that was there, they'll collect it, go in. And then that transformed into the cocktails. I didn't start with the cocktails because a lot of people were scared that obviously the bottle comes already sealed. With the cocktail, you're making it yourself and then sealing it. So when people got a bit more confident, we introduced the cocktails. They enjoyed that. And then the weather changed. And then we got the slushies in. And the slushies have done very well.
Amazing.
Very well.
I've noticed the pattern of your strategy throughout our conversation. And I think that's definitely something that should not be slept on. You know, it's not by mistake. You didn't wake up one morning and say, oh, do you know what? Let me just do some slushies. I see you started with your bottle deliveries and then you gained the confidence from there and then you went into your slushies. And, you know, it's just testament that success is no mistake. It's not by accident you're doing very well. You've applied a lot of thought behind it.
It's good. When you're starting something, it's good to... All right, you've got an idea, and then you always think, how can I grow this? Has it got potential to grow, or hasn't it? And then you just explore all the avenues you think where it can grow, and then you build off it. Then it opens up. Then it opens up other ideas, and then you just keep going.
Amazing. So we've got someone saying a natural entrepreneur. Love slushies. The spontaneity will come back once COVID is over. And then I also saw a comment in here. Someone said that they're really proud of you. Yasmin Gabriel, I think. And I think that's probably a nice way to round up, actually. We'll ask you 2 questions to end this. What has been your proudest moment or achievement to date?
What to do with Interlude itself?
If you want to do 2, you can do 2. So maybe 1 business, 1 personal.
Proudest moment with Interlude. I think it was the first anniversary. Like we'd got in there, not really knowing what we had done, all the obstacles that were in the way. A lot of people, residents, locals thought we'd close because not a lot of businesses last. And being a black-owned venue that does parties, we'd had no fights. We hadn't been closed and we had no police call-outs. And we'd lasted a year doing that. And that's hard in Lewisham. So that first year was a proud moment. Definitely.
Amazing.
Definitely that
Do you want to chuck a personal one in there as well? Or?
Proud moment personally, probably the birth of my son. Definitely. Proudest moment.
What is your son's name again?
Blake.
Blake, he must be one of the cutest little humans out there. He is adorable, and it's actually amazing and shocking at the same time how much he's just grown.
Yeah,
It's every time I'm like, wait, you just literally a baby 2 snaps ago. Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing amazing. How are you finding juggling fatherhood with business?
It's you just learn how to deal with it, and he's got a good mum as well, so that helps. That helps a lot. But yeah, it comes. You just learn. It hits you. You just learn how to deal with it. He's a good boy as well. It's not. He doesn't give much problems. You get some with it. He likes to bar himself. He likes to get behind the bar, open the fridges, try and pour drinks. So
and you've actually done kids parties as well in the bar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What brought that on? How did
that was just another idea. Like, I know there's a lot of mums and dads with children, and it's quite repetitive for them of just bringing them to the park or to a little play zone. So, and kids like fancy dress. They like dressing up, and we just give them something different to do. That was the whole reason behind that. And I've got a son as well, and I just found with things doing for him, it's quite limited. It's just quite repetitive. So. Yeah, just give the kids, put something on the kids. The parents loved it. The kids loved it. So if we didn't have the COVID, we would have had more would have come through. So,
still to come. It's not forever. Yeah. And then the last question for you is, what's next for Interlude? What can we expect?
Next for Interlude, I would like to say expand. We want to expand. If we can get another location, that would be fantastic. And just keep that one going. Keep building that one. Keep people enjoying it. Keep the consistency. Keep it safe. Obviously, it's not going to be like this year. Slowed a lot of things down. So we have lost 6 months of trade. So and for a business of our size, that we're lucky to still be going.
Be afloat,
so, yeah. So we're still open. It's just about now trying to move on and get somewhere else, get another one.
Well, I have no doubt that your innovation will prevail, and you will continue. Just having a little look through the last of these comments. So someone said you're a natural entrepreneur. We've got Interlude London in the house. You guys follow Interlude London. I'm going to get you to drop your handles shortly, James. Someone's mum said that they're proud of you. That's Ty London.
Yep.
100s, hands up, lots of hearts. Oh, so we've got lots of love in here for little Blake. Yes to no fights. Blake's watching. Oh, amazing. Your little one's watching. Oh, so cute. Best dad ever. Hearts, building little man's legacy. Host another children's party, please. Our kids are driving us crazy at home. We've got some demand.
As soon as it's safe, we will.
Yeah, if it's safe, amazing. And then we said a couple of people are ready for bottomless brunches. Amazing. Yep. James, if the people want to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me on my Instagram, king_Jim Brown, or tune into the Interlude London Instagram as well. Just keep up to date on that with what we're doing. We're on there daily, posting on the story. We've got our cocktail deliveries, food collections running daily as well. So yeah, on either of them two, you can stay in contact.
And Interlude London, if you just run that handle for them, because it's 2 E's, right?
Yeah, 2 E's, yeah. 2 E's,
so
LDN.
Interlude, guys, with 2 E's, London, LDN. They literally just dropped a comment in here. So if you want to find them, follow them at Interlude London. And where can they find you? Where is the bar located?
It's in Lee Gate, 12 Lee Gate, SE12 in Lee Green.
Amazing. And any expected date for reopening, or look out on your social?
It's all to do with the government, really, and just keeping an eye on footfall. Just as soon as everything goes back to normal, we want to be open, but it has to make sense and it has to be safe, because right now we can't even legally we can't have the numbers we used to have in there anyway. Everyone has to be seated, and it can't be too crowded. So that takes away one element of our business already. So as soon as things do go back to normal, we'll be up and running, ready to go. The sooner the better.
So follow bigger and better. So follow their social handles, guys, which is Interlude London. Someone's just dropped it in the comment section for us. Thank you. If you're not already following the Purpose platform, follow us on Instagram at the Purpose platform. You can watch this interview back. And James, if your parents, anyone wants to watch it, friends, family, it will be uploaded to YouTube within 48 hours. And it'll be on IGTV for the next 24 hours. Also, guys, last thing is subscribe to our YouTube channel. The link is in the bio, and there is a little surprise. Basically, look out for the post like 2 days ago, and you will be put into a draw for a little prize, which will be tomorrow if you subscribe.
Follow up, people. Support. Follow up and support. Big
love, James. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been amazing having you. And we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, when you're ready, I'm here. Thank you. Yeah. Take care, guys.